All right, everyone, thanks for coming now. I brought you all here so we can figure out who finishes where in the division, which of you guys go to the playoffs, and ultimately, which team fans bitch about the most for getting all the calls. Well, I for one can't stand that sort of thing. You never see any of our fans doing anything like that. That's because you've only had fans since April, says the one who hasn't played past April the last 2 years. I sure love a couple squirrel. Well, anyway, Atlantic Division, you're up first. We'll start with the champs. Instead of nearly being reverse swept in the cup final, how about this year we actually reverse sweep someone's sorry ass in the final? Hell, make it against Edmonton. You know who'd probably make a banner about that? The Flames, since they don't have too many of those. Ottawa, I'm surprised to see you here. Did Claude Giroux give you a ride? Now we finally have our number one goaltender. His name? Linus Ullmark. Nothing's gonna hold us back now. Travis Green. Yep. Well, the cry closet is just past the bathroom to the right. What say you, Toronto? Oh, we're not messing around anymore. We've got Craig Berube behind the bench, and we finally have some needed toughness on defense with Chris Tanev and Yanni Hakanpää. Hey, that's great. How many goals will they combine for in a Game 7? Let's hear it, Detroit. Our top six is as stacked as it gets. I'm actually optimistic about our goaltending rotation, and we have exceptional prospects that we can bring up in a pinch. Okay, well, rate your forwards on a scale from 1 to 10. At least an 8, borderline 9. And your goaltending options altogether. Optimistic, but 7? And your prospects? Gotta at least be a 9. And your ability to shut down the Panthers, Maple Leafs, Bruins, or Rangers top lines. Whatever it is, it's lower than 5. The percentage chance you'll finish in the top 3. How about you, Tampa? There's no cup final matchup more intriguing than us versus our old captain. Well, I don't disagree with you if you actually made the cup final. What's the problem? Tampa, you're like that drunk guy in his mid-40s who thinks he's still got it long after peaking in high school. Montreal, you and I both know we're not building this team just to win a Stanley Cup. We're doing it to form a dynasty. And what do you have to do to become a dynasty? You have to fight the waves and waves and waves of enemies, and there are 7 of them in your own division. You never give us any respect, do you? Lane Hudson. Lane Hudson. Lane Hudson. Lane Hudson. Buffalo. Coach Lindy is back behind the bench where he belongs on a young team that's oozing. Did I just say oozing? Well, oozing with talent at every position. You're still a little green to be talking cup here, Buffalo, but I like your chances at the at the what? Well, you know, the thing that starts with a P, the Oh, the playoffs. And the curse continues. Boston, what are we even doing here? Shouldn't you be negotiating a deal with Swayman? Oh, we've got a deal in place. Well, that's great. And does the contract include a guarantee of scoring at least 2 even-strength goals in playoff games? Goals? I thought he'd be happy with just money, but we'll circle back. Attaboy. All right, guys, well, can you go upstairs and please get the Metropolitan Division teams, and then I'll call you down when I'm ready to announce who's going to the playoffs. Okay, Metro team, so as you can see, Columbus isn't here today. We all know he has much more serious stuff to attend to, so please send him your best if you haven't already. Rangers, you got pretty close last year. You know, bud, you kinda owe us one after the last few years. Let's not forget I helped you land a top 5 defenseman and the league's best goaltender for what was an accelerated rebuild. Okay, fine, whatever. Let's just get Igor's deal done before the playoffs. Can do. I'll make sure he's making more than DiPietro in less than half the time. And speaking of which, Islanders, how about our league best goaltending tandem, Sorokin and Varley, split starts during the playoffs, and then in Game 7, it's Bo Horvat scoring the overtime winner against his former team, the Canucks. That way America continues its streak against Canada too. Isles, you know I can't kick Canucks fans in the nuts anymore unless they lose to an actual quality team. I'm cutting your season shorter than Anthony Duclair's hair. Hey yo, Philly. Mishkov has the most sensational rookie season since Teemu in '93. Ooh, that's tempting. So is putting a bounty on Cutter Gauthier when we play the Ducks. If he fights Drysdale, I'll at least give you a playoff round. How about you, Washington? Not only does Ovi break Gretzky's record with an unbelievable 45-goal year, but Backstrom returns. No. You switch to the Screaming Eagle full-time. No. You actually win a playoff round. No. Damn it. How are you gonna top that, Pittsburgh? Let's be real here. Apart from Crosby putting the team on his back, what else do we have to look forward to this year? How about Jacob Trouba makes the USA roster for the Four Nations face-off and loses to Sid and Team Canada in the final? Are you saying Sid wins another trophy? Mm-hmm. I no longer have a void where my heart used to be. Speaking of voids, Carolina, you have a couple of those on your depth chart. I know we lost a lot of big pieces, but we kept what's most important. Rod the Bod. Plus, Kochetkov going to get a lot more starts in net, Svechnikov's going to completely go off, and Bernsey will ride off into the sunset a Stanley Cup champion. Buddy, you could trade for Marner, Rantanen, and Besser and still find a way to f up your power play in the playoffs. Jersey. Picture a full season of Jack Hughes, a puck-moving but intimidating defense, and picture Sheldon Key for your inevitable exit to the Hurricanes. Again, by the way, Jack's brother is on the shelf for the next month. Pacific, glad to have you here. Vancouver, you won the division last year. What's next? We have elite talent at 1C and 2C, the reigning Norris Trophy winner, and something that Edmonton doesn't have, a Vezina caliber goalie. Well, once he comes back. And just how important is that when you have 17 shots on goal in Game 7. Oh, come on, you put Montreal in the final a few years ago. And they didn't burn down their city that time. Did they? Yeah, during COVID. Did they? San Jose. Well, we thought about how much fun we had tanking last year, rooting for the Ducks and the Blackhawks, even giving up 10 goals in a single game a couple times. And you know, we just want someone else to enjoy that while Celebrini and Smith start to save our franchise. You'll still give up 10 goals at least a couple of times, but I'll make sure that's on the road because your attendance at home, woof. What's cracking, Seattle? In what would be an admittedly shocking Stanley Cup final, 30-goal scorer Shane Wright and the Kraken take down the Montreal Canadiens. Dan Bylsma completes a triumphant return to the NHL, and Jessica Campbell becomes the first female coach to lift the Stanley Cup. Not gonna lie, that would be a pretty great story. And then Bowie celebrates by taking the cup. Stop right there. Whatever it is, I'll tell Mr. Pritchard to bring some hand sanitizer. Edmonton. Scriptwriter, whatever you do, can we please just win a Game 7 if we're in the final? Well, that's the age-old question, isn't it? I mean, even with 97 and 29 and Boosh, we're only gonna get so many cracks at it. That's the age-old debate, isn't it? I have a feeling you're getting at something. You're wise beyond your years, Edmonton, and you have a lot of those on your roster. You're next, Calgary. The more this team subtracts from its roster, the better it gets. We had 81 points last year with Yegor Sharangovich as our leading goal scorer. We can't be that bad. Perfect, let's get you in the wildcard race by trading Dustin Wolf. No, you take that back. Oh, I'm just kidding, but I will send Backlund and Lomberg to Florida for a third. I think a couple of their old teammates play there. Oh, so that's how we're doing it? I'm done with this. Hey, Florida. Oh, hey, Calgary. Say hello to Lomberg for me. Did I break him or something? That escalated quickly. Go ahead, LA. All right, man, how about your greatest plot twist since maybe 1982? We actually beat the Oilers in the first round. And let me guess, you faced the Maple Leafs in the final after they've beaten Boston. Yes! How'd you know? Oh, it's not about what I know, but it's about what I've come to expect from you. Let's move on to Anaheim. We finally brought back the Mighty Ducks logo full time. You know how good we are when we rebrand? Remember 07? Oh, I do, because those jerseys were ugly AF. Plus your new unis are so orange, I'm surprised that Fanta isn't your jersey sponsor. And lastly, we've got Vegas. Let's make hockey fans hate us even more. So mid-season, we'll fire Bruce Cassidy and we'll replace him with Joel Quenneville. Please no. And then Aiden Hill goes on IR, joining Stone, of course, and we trade with the Minnesota Wild for Marc-Andre Fleury. You don't say. For future conditions. Sounding like a Vegas trade already. But then he sits on the bench the whole playoffs and refuses to have his name engraved on the Stanley Cup and then retires. You're good. Okay, and Dallas, I'll let you lead off the Central. Easy. We are gonna own the NHL wagon. How about we aren't giving Otter enough goal support? Because in back-to-back conference finals appearances, you're averaging a whopping 2 goals per game. Winnipeg? Honestly, I don't know why I bothered even showing up. We've been in the playoffs 6 of the past 7 seasons, and every time we seemingly go out with a whimper. Swept by Montreal, blasted by Vegas, not once but twice. Time to get some new material, guy. You know what, Winnipeg? You're right. Okay, how about this? You missed the playoffs, and this time you actually have the balls to fire Cheveldayoff off and make some moves for a change. Now we have Chicago. How about Bedard leads a Windy City renaissance with the killer T's, Taylor Hall, Teuvo Teravainen, and Tyler Bertuzzi all at a point per game? How about you win more than 6 games against teams in your own division? Just let us beat the Blues in the Winter Classic. Have you even seen your record in outdoor games? Because that ain't up to me. That's up to the man upstairs. Okay, St. Louis. There's an underrated hockey team coached by Drew Bannister, which will line teams up and mercilessly send their regards like a Lannister. NHL. What makes you think you're a beast in the rink? Wait until March 1st. Get on the phone and sell. You were pretty creative this offseason, St. Louis, but you're not ready to stack up against the big boys like Nashville here. Hot damn, we just landed some mighty big old catfish in the offseason. Steven Stamkos, Jonathan Marchessault, you know. We have our aging like a fine wine captain, Mr. 48-goal Philip Forsberg, and a resurgent Jussi Saros between the pipes. Y'all better reckon we have ourselves a Stanley Cup contender in the Music City here. I'm pretty sure you just triggered half the hockey community, but at least the commissioner's gonna love you. Speaking of which, what about our sort of newest team, Utah? Well, the team that we kind of sort of used to be was in playoff contention for a while last year until a terrible losing streak. We have lots of young firepower though. We got Mikhail Sergachev in the offseason. And despite my garb, we aren't Arizona. Let's say when you face the Avalanche in the first round for Game 1 in Denver, you're wearing the jersey of your new team name, the Utah Yeti, and how will we feel in Colorado? Just keep sleeping on the Avs. We have the reigning Hart Trophy winner, plus Makar and Rantanen. Okay, those are 3 players. Yeah, and am I missing something, or did NHL roster shrink from 20 to 3? Just wait until we have our captain and Lehkonen and Nichushkin back. Oh, I'm definitely waiting. And Minnesota here will close this out. There's never been a better time to be a Minnesota sports fan than now, with the way the Timberwolves and even the Vikings are playing. The Wild are no slouch either. Brock Faber for the Norris, Kirill Kaprizov for the Hart, Jesper Wallstedt for the Calder Trophy, and the Conn Smythe. You actually expect one of these teams to win a title for arguably the most cursed city in sports for teams not named the Lynx? Oh, I have hope, don't you know? You probably think the North Stars are coming back as well. A broken clock is right twice a day. Alright guys, we'll head upstairs while I figure out whose hearts I'm shattering into a million pieces this year. Alright guys, well this has been a productive meeting. Now, I've got to run these playoff teams by the commissioner when we meet later this year. But for now, here's who I'm locking in. So we'll start with the Atlantic Division. And Boston, you're on top, but you've got to pay sway. Florida, not much of a cup hangover for you. You're in second. Toronto, I do have faith in Berube. And the 2 wildcard teams from the East, both of them coming from the Atlantic, we've got ourselves Ottawa and Buffalo. Welcome back to the playoffs, boys. There must be a mistake. As long as Breezeball is still your GM, then that's the only mistake. Okay, let's move on to the Metropolitan Division. So first, Rangers. It's going to be a Hart Trophy finalist season for Shesterkin, so make sure he get what he deserves. Second, we've got Carolina, still underrated, at least in the regular season. And third, New Jersey, welcome back to the playoffs. You have Markstrom now. He's not Berger, but he'll do. And in the West, we'll start with the Pacific. So first place, we've got Edmonton. It's not the only thing you'll win this year because I also have you as the President's Trophy winner. You sick son of a bitch. Vancouver, you'll overcome some early season adversity and finish second. In third, we have the Seattle Kraken. Youth will definitely be a factor in your best season yet. And we'll also have a wild card, and that will be the Vegas Golden Knights because you're still Vegas. Okay, and then we'll finish up with the Central Division, and in first we have the Dallas Stars, several players with career seasons. In second, Nashville, a little bit older but a whole lot wiser. Colorado, we've got you in third. I see a lot of momentum down the stretch for you. And for our last wild card, give it up for Utah. Now I have some kinks to work out with the first 2 rounds, but for the conference finals, starting with the East, we've got the New York Rangers defeating the Toronto Maple Leafs. But that would mean they'd beat us. And Florida? Nah, Olmark is coming for your ass in the first round, setting up the Battle of Ontario in round 2. And in the West, we have the Vancouver Canucks triumphing over the Colorado Avalanche, setting up a 1994 Cup rematch. But it better be a different result. And so the moment we've all been waiting for. Your 2025 Stanley Cup champion is the... Oh, hold on guys, I gotta take this. Hey there, boss. What's going on? There's my little script writer. How are the teams reacting to our plans? Oh, well, just some minor resistance, but overall the guys are really excited. This year's final will feature the Rangers and Canucks. A Canadian team? But we've been a bit too generous to them in recent years. maybe we need to open the door to Utah. We're counting on them having the first of many, many successful seasons. Well, I guess they could have a run like Vegas in 2018, but they'd lose to the Rangers in the final. But the Rangers aren't a Southern team, are they? Now, which state has had a team in the final every year in this decade?
Florida, right?
Exactly. 3 appearances by the Lightning, and now with your magnificent script writing, 3 by the Panthers.
So Panthers versus a team whose name we don't even know. I'm sure this will go over really well in our fan community.
And especially with our bottom line. Good talk. Hey, who was that? Oh, just an old friend who's really invested in hockey. He must be a pretty big fan. Oh yeah, he's definitely a fan. So who's lifting the cup, me or Vancouver? Well, it ain't you two.